Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Here we have Leah and Michelle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to.
Hi. Okay, sorry if we did catch you on Friday. Sorry for the IT issue that forced us to do it today. Hopefully all of you are ready for today's webinar, and we'll go over the ELD malfunction procedures. Keep in mind, this webinar is a just-in-case scenario. So this is not an everyday occurrence that you'll have to deal with. This is just to cover your bases in case one of the ELDs happens to malfunction. We want to make sure that we have you all prepared. So we're going to go get ahead and give people a couple more minutes to join. So sit tight for just one more minute and we'll begin in a sec. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin. Today's agenda, we're going to go over what the requirements are for your drivers just in case of an ELD malfunction, including the ELD Malfunction Manual, and what to do and how you're able to request an ELD malfunction extension, and then we'll go into a Q&A. Again, I just want to make this super clear that this is a just-in-case procedure. It's not that all of our ELDs are malfunctioning and you'll have to do this every day. This is just in case it does happen to happen. We want you to be prepared. Michelle?
Okay, so I will take it away. So good morning, afternoon, everyone. What we're looking at, our ELD Malfunction Manual. This card will come with every one of your ELDs that are shipped out from Keep Truckin'. This card is required to be kept in the cab at all times. Let's talk about what is a malfunction. Malfunction is when an ELD is not accurately recording hours of service. When it's not, what needs to happen is you need to engage the ELD malfunction protocol, which is outlined here. And that's exact wording that we need to reference. Okay, so let's just take a look. How does the driver know if the ELD is malfunctioning? Either the lights on the device are turned on, neither green nor red, when the device is plugged in to the truck's diagnostic port and power is flowing to it. So specifically regarding for the driver, immediately what they need to do is they need to reach out to us here at Keep Truckin', our support line, or email us. So they're able to really troubleshoot this issue and we're able to assist ASAP. Note the malfunction and provide written notice to you guys, to the fleet, within 24 hours. And then for them to keep a paper log for that day and until the ELD is repaired or replaced. Okay, so what does the fleet need to do in case of the ELD is malfunction? The motor carrier must take actions to correct the malfunction of the ELD within 8 days of discovery of the condition or a driver's notification to the motor carrier, whichever occurs first. In the event of an ELD malfunction, Keep Truckin' will send a new device upon notification from the fleet admin. If a motor carrier needs a time extension, they must notify the FMCSA division administrator for the state of the motor carrier's principal place of business within 5 days after the driver notifies the motor carrier. So what is an extension, right? So let's kind of talk about this extension. So again, within 5 days of you being given notice, you must request for the extension in writing to your home field office district administrator. Okay, so this is really, what is that extension and how do you file for it? We've got a list here, a search, where you're able to find the contact for your home field office that you need to communicate with. Fax or request to the field division administrator. Each request for an extension under this section must be signed by the motor carrier and contained. And I'm just going to read this off. This is just important to note. Name, address, telephone, the motor carrier rep who files the request, the make, model, and serial number of each ELD, the date and location of each ELD malfunction as reported by the driver to the carrier, a concise statement describing actions taken by the motor carrier to make a good faith effort to repair, replace, or service ELD units, including why the carrier needs additional time beyond the 8 days provided within the section. From there, the driver may then go ahead and use the paper logs until they do receive a response for the FMSCA. That's really the process. And so I think right now, what might be helpful is if we take your Q&A, and we can kind of dive in specifically what questions you guys all have.
Awesome. So if you have questions, please go ahead and type them in the in your chat box, and we'll go ahead and answer all of your questions. We want to make sure to at least try to keep it related to the ELD malfunction review, although if you have other questions about the ELD mandate or the Keep Truckin' system, feel free to enter it in. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat box. I know that was a pretty concise webinar regarding this ELD malfunction, so maybe you don't have any questions, but if you have any general questions, feel free to write them. Okay, can I download the info on the extension on KT's website? So what you should actually have is the actual ELD malfunction sheet, which we showed on this webinar. Those were sent in the driver's instruction manuals. So it's right at the end of that. So everyone should already have that with your ELD order. If you don't, go ahead and contact your onboarding project manager, customer success manager, or support, and we would be able to provide you a PDF copy of it. Or you can actually order more if you want for your own use. You can order them for 75 cents each, and that way you can have them on hand. As far as the actual Keep Truckin' Learning Center, we do have the ELD Malfunction Manual. If you just go to support.keeptruckin.com and type in ELD Malfunction in the search bar, you will find it right there. Okay, I've had an issue with an ELD left light staying red for a longer time than normal and not recording drive time until a mile down the road when it turns green. So just keep in mind with this question, you want to make sure both of the lights on the ELD are green prior to driving. So the left light is GPS. So if the left light is red, you want to move the actual ELD box around on your dash until it turns green. And then that right light is your Bluetooth connection. So if that right light is not green, you don't want to start driving. That's going to give you unidentified driving. So just make sure both of those green lights are on the ELD and the green light is on in your app, and then begin driving. would the colors of the lights on the actual ELD be a certain color if an ELD is starting to malfunction? So something you can note with the actual ELD malfunctions is there will actually probably be no lights on. And that tells you that the ELD may be malfunctioning. So in those cases, in general, you just always want to call support for them to do their diagnosis about what actually is going on. Most of the time, the ELD is not actually broken or malfunctioning. It simply needs an update, or the cable is loose, something of the sort. So most times the driver just calls support, they're able to diagnose the issue and fix the problem right on the phone, and the driver can keep going. It's not actually a malfunction. So again, I would just make sure that the 2 lights on the ELD are green. If you're not seeing any lights at all, that would note that there might be a malfunction, and in any case, you want to make sure to call support first. How long should it take for both lights to turn green? So the left light, which is the GPS light, that one pretty much is always on and always green. It's the right light, which is your Bluetooth connection, that may take a second because it requires that actual Bluetooth connection to pair. So the green one, the left one, again, should probably usually always be on. And the right one, as long as you pair in your app, it connects right away. So one thing that may occur is that it may say syncing and have the little pinwheel, and that's okay. Just give it a few moments to actually pair. But once it does that, it should not take long at all to get that Bluetooth connection. We've been having issues with yellow lights. What is this from? So yellow lights on the ELD, again, these can be different sort of concerns. So because everything, obviously, with our system is technology, what you want to do is call support. So the yellow lights, it could just be the actual power from the truck engine's not giving enough power, or the truck battery. So in those cases, yes, call support. They'll be able to let you know exactly what's happening, run diagnosis on the ELD, and replace it if necessary. If an ELD momentarily malfunctions during a driving event and it doesn't record a few hours of driving, how do I address it? So basically what could happen in these cases is you'll see in your dashboard an interrupted driving event. And that just means that the ELD somehow became unplugged or unpowered during the actual driving event. So as long as the ELD is plugged in at the beginning of the driving event, you'll see interrupted right in your dashboard. And then you can just annotate that driving event line item and say, this was an ELD malfunction. What you can also do in order to make sure that driving time is on the driver's log is enable manual entry of drive time. Go ahead and input in, that hour where the ELD may have malfunctioned, and then begin recording drive time the same way with your ELD after that interrupted event. So when the left light is red, there's something wrong with the unit. No, the left light on the ELD is just for GPS. So if that light is red, that means you need to move the actual ELD box around in the dash until it turns green. You want to make sure that it has basically a great view of the sky, and that's the best way to get good GPS on the ELD. In some trucks, it works right on the dash. Sometimes it works even under the dash. So just make sure that the left light is green, and that's for your GPS location. Okay, can you make clear if the USB ports can be used for charging? So basically with the USB port, the main basically reason we have that on the actual ELD is for older Android devices. They can direct connect, so like 6.0 and earlier. So that's pretty old Android devices. If you happen to have one of those, you can direct connect instead of doing Bluetooth. Other than that, when you do plug in your charger initially, the ELD will charge it for some time, but after a while, basically your cell phone is requiring too much power that the ELD is not able to give, so it will stop charging after some time. So it may work for you for a little bit, but eventually it will probably stop actually charging your device, so we do not suggest actually using it as a charger. And let's see. So again, with this question regarding the USB port, the ELD is not malfunctioning just because the USB port isn't charging the phone. Again, it has to do with how much power the unit is able to give out. And a cell phone charging requires more power than our ELD is actually able to give out. So that's why it stops working after some time. We have time for maybe about 1 or 2 more questions, so if anything pops in your head, please write it in the chat box in the top right. What year vehicle does the KT ELD not support? I wouldn't say we do not support certain years. Something to note is our cables pretty much go back until 1998. So if you have a truck that's older than that one, you may need further clarification about exactly which cable type is needed. Other than that, we pretty much support any type of truck or vehicle. I even have one in my own personal car, so we pretty much support everything out there. So just make sure have a picture of your diagnostic port available, and then support or your account manager will be able to help you out with which one to use. And I think that that's about it for today. If your questions were not answered, there's 3 support resources we want you to utilize. The first one is the support center. So that's support.keeptruckin.com. There you can just type in the search bar anything related to your question, and up will pop up a bunch of different articles and videos that you can use in order to basically answer your questions. Also, definitely direct either yourself or your drivers to the support line, 855-434-3564, and they are available 24/7. And then lastly, you can email support, support@keeptruckin.com, and they'll email you back any responses that you have regarding your questions. I hope this was very helpful for everyone. It is available on our YouTube channel after. Sorry we messed up on Friday, but glad you were all able to attend today. We will see you all next Friday for our next Fleet Manager webinar.
Have a wonderful week.
Thanks so much.